gem from MM. Mickey about to drop a gem. 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 Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem from MM. Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Okay, now listen up.
What's up, guys? It's Mickey, and welcome back to another episode of Blank Canvas. How are we feeling after this Easter? Well, technically Resurrection Sunday. I know we call it Easter, but Easter has you look up the history of it. It's really a pagan holiday. It ain't even just Hallmark card. It's a pagan holiday at that, and with the bunnies and the eggs and the fertility and blah, blah, blah. Look it up, because I had no idea. I had no idea until I was an adult, that it was attached to that. However, I guess we've taken it back, and I know from a capitalist standpoint, they absolutely have taken it back so you can spend money on eggs and spend money on food and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, as long as we all gather and then we spread the gospel, is there really anything to complain about? Not to me. But be aware that is a pagan holiday once you do know the real history and truth behind it. But happy Resurrection Sunday. Well, technically it's not Sunday. We're live on Monday. We're live on the Monday after. So I hope you guys had a wonderful Resurrection Sunday. And for all the people who went to church for the first time and they gave their lives to Christ, I am so freaking proud of you. So proud of you. Aren't we, guys? BK fam. Let's give them a round of applause. No, literally, that's how turn it is. Well, actually, even better in heaven. Every single time you give your life, and sometimes you need to re-give it again, okay? And it's nothing wrong with that because we all fall short. But whether you're giving your life for the first time or you strayed away from God for a long time and you wanted to give your life to God again, I am so proud of you. We are all so happy for you, and I'm excited for what this journey is about to be. I want to warn you in the beginning, the journey won't be easy, but it will absolutely positively be worth it. Following God, trusting in Him, letting Him guide and lead your life. It will not be easy, but the journey will absolutely be worth it. So congratulations. Welcome to the Fam Bam. Or technically, I guess in a sense, always been a part of the Fam Bam, but, and I don't mean the BK fam. I mean specifically family with Christ. Technically, you've always been His son or daughter. We're rejecting Him. Point blank simple. So when I say welcome to the Fam Bam, welcome to the Fam Bam with new eyes. Welcome to the Fam Bam with the energy to learn more. Welcome to the Fam Bam with a new purpose, a new start, a renewing, a transformation of the mind, body, and soul. Congratulations and welcome. I just wanted to say that. I don't want to keep you guys here for long. What am I even going to talk about today? I had this point that I was going to talk about and break down, but I don't think I'll be able to do it justice like Pastor Mike from Rock City did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link his sermon for Sermon of the Week in this week's episode, and y'all will be blessed by it. He did a phenomenal job, as he usually does. So that's the sermon that I'll do. And I guess what I'll talk about today is the lessons that I learned from my crash outs. Yeah. So I don't crash out that often. I don't crash out that often. But when I do, they are crash outs. Certified crash outs. And there are some lessons that I learned after I behave that way or after I act that way. See, that's the thing. Listen, y'all, if y'all gonna crash out, at least learn a lesson or two from it. At least gain some knowledge and some wisdom of how either not to crash out in that way again or what brought me to the crash out in the first place. Maybe that's just me. I like a little reflection because, again, I don't really like to crash out. I know it's kind of it's popular to talk about and say, I am one, da 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 da. Don't y'all see how we always pick up the toxic things? I am a crash out. I am a slut. There are some people who was not expecting me to say that. But there are some people I'm proud to be that, And I have no judgment. We don't do that here. I have no judgment. But it's like the things that or I am a loner. I am mean. It's like we always pick up on the negative things first. It's never like, I am blessed. I am kind. I am loyal. I am loving. Like we always flaunt and pick up on and brag about the things that are very harmful and self-destructive to us. Like all of us do it. I don't know why we as humans do it, but I don't know. Maybe it's that thing where they say like, you know how they talk about people and they're like, you're the villain, you're the villain. And then some people say that people have blamed them for so long and made them out to be the villain in so many ways that then they just embrace that role and step into it even more. Maybe that's what we do. When we get negative labels sometimes, whether from ourselves or from society or from maybe not necessarily the right way to view or picture something, then we pick up on those labels, we keep those labels, and then we step into them even more. So life and death is in the power of the tongue. First lesson that wasn't even in my plan to mention is be very careful of the labels that you give yourself or that you receive from other people. Just because somebody say something about you doesn't necessarily make it true. That don't make it law. Okay? And just because somebody may know you from like a past situation or your past in general doesn't mean you don't have room to grow or to change and to be something better and greater. All right? Not like as in competition with them, but just a better version of yourself. You don't have to stay stuck there. So be very careful of the labels that you place on yourself and the labels that you receive from others. Okay? Next lesson. Listen, girlies, there are two types of girls. There are the girls who are crashing out after every moment, after every instance, after everything. And listen, a crash out is a crash out. So whether you delay it or you do it on time, it doesn't make either party better than the other. I'm just saying there are two types of girls, right? And then there's another type of girl who she is letting you dig your hole 6 feet deep. And if she me, probably 8. Okay? Because once that dirt comes on top, I promise you, I am going to bury you alive in it. I am the girl. Build the Rico. Build the whole Rico case before you bust it wide open, okay? But there are pros and cons with that. So for the girlies who are crashing out often, okay, in a sense, they're also kind of letting the other parties be known, like, hey, this is a problem. This got on my nerves. We either need to fix this. Now, are they emotionally regulated and saying it in a healthy form? Absolutely not. Hence the crash out. However, there is something that can be said to, at least they told you, right? They didn't tell you in the best way, and they need to learn how to properly tell you in the best way. We all have to learn how to regulate our emotions. However, there is something that can be said to not waiting until the tail end when there's 30,000 things to talk about. You know, when you finally drop the bomb that, hey, you've been failing and you've been failing in this, and this area. Because it doesn't give the person a chance to, number one, it allows a buildup regardless. And when buildups happen, you honestly respond a lot worse a lot of times. Like too much time in between a problem usually just builds resentment and makes your anger go deeper. And makes it a lot harder to forgive. Because if you're forgiving one small thing versus a pileup of things, you know what I'm saying? You may be a little more willing to compromise. You may be a little more willing to hear the other party out. You may be a little more willing to be forgiving. You may be a little more willing to believe them when they say that, okay, I will try, or I didn't even know. Because sometimes we hurt other people, and I'm including myself in that. We hurt other people and we don't even know. Like sometimes you don't know until a person tells you and you're like, oh, okay, I do apologize, or I will change this behavior. And then the change may not happen overnight. And even if, let me tell you, even if they've been consistent and they relapse, all right, they're human. Don't say it's the end all be all. Don't act like, you know, don't negate all the work that they've put in before that. Be very careful, because that's very easy to do if somebody does relapse. It's to negate all their hard work that they put in before and negate all the effort that they put in before. Don't do that. That's like a setup for failure. It's I would believe one of the tricks of the enemy, and it will just have you throwing away things that's just meant to be worked on and nurtured. And there is nothing in this life that you can have that doesn't take work. Everything may not take the same amount of work because there are levels to things. However, I just haven't seen any kind of relationship, the ones that are worth it and the ones that aren't, that are bad for you, and you're like, oh, this is too much. I'm having to put in too much work, This is toxic. I wish I could tell you point blank period, these are the clear signs to look out for. Of course, you can kind of pick up on when something is toxic, right? But I wish I could be even more direct and give you the clear signs of when to walk away, when to stay. When is this completely toxic and detrimental to my being? Or when is this, we're in a rough patch and we got to rebuild. And rebuilding doesn't feel great, okay? Because even if something wasn't healthy for you, there is a comfort because it's routine. There is a comfort because you kind of know what to expect. There is, even in something that could be toxic for you, there is a level of comfort. I know this demon, right? It would be a lot to have to relearn another demon and relearn that demon's patterns and stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily calling other human beings demons. I'm just saying, like, I know this bad pattern, right? I know how to combat this bad pattern, or I know how to wait out somewhere else until this pattern has, subsided to a point where I can take it. Like, there's different things, and I wish I had like a black and white answer, but I don't, because every situation is different, every person is different, and there are just too many factors, and it's a completely gray area because it takes effort on both parts. You can't fix something by yourself. You can't rebuild something by yourself unless it's like your own individual relationship, with oneself, or maybe a goal or something of that nature, that it's pertaining to just you. But if there's other parties involved, it's gonna take however many parties are involved to get it right. And so that takes effort, that takes communication, that takes all the things. And so the con that I would say with holding and building the RICO case and dropping it is you do not give the person the opportunity, the chance to fix it until you're at a point where you're about completely fed up. And that's not really fair on their part either. Not only are you suffering, but by the time you do bring the attention to the issue to their attention, you're so fed up that you're gonna want the change. I can't speak for y'all, but I've been wanting to change, like change now, fix it now, because I have sat there and let so much of it build up. However, had I communicated throughout the whole entire process, number one, it wouldn't have felt so overwhelming from either party, because that's not really fair to the other party. Imagine someone coming up to you and being like, hey, you hurt me, but let me go down a long list of all the ways that you hurt me, right? That wouldn't be fair. That would feel overwhelming. And then you're also overwhelmed because after you've listed all these things, you don't necessarily feel better. Now you've just gone through it and been like, these are all the ways that you hurt me. It puts you in a completely different mindset. It feels overwhelming in the sense where it's like, you do feel like I need to pick an extreme side. Do I stay and fight for this? Do I leave? And a lot of that extreme feeling can be combated down if you just communicate throughout the whole process. Give people a chance to actually make the changes that you want to see take place. Give people a chance to not have to fix everything in one day, because you know that it's impossible to fix everything in one day. You're not going to feel better probably after the first day. And even if you feel better the first day, you're like, oh, this conversation felt great. This felt like this is what it needed to be. Listen, the next day you may be like, I don't feel it anymore. Your feelings are going to fluctuate. What you need to be concrete and solid in is your decision to carve out a better path, your decision to rebuild for better. If you're solid in that decision, on the days where you feel like this ain't working, you'll be so solid in your decision, you'll still put in that effort to rebuild. On the days where you feel like this is overwhelming, this is too much, you'll still be solid in your decision. Okay, we're rebuilding. We're putting in effort to make it better. So as our feelings fluctuate and stuff, our reasoning for why it won't, right? If that makes sense. I can't, again, give you a black and white answer, but just seeing the the pros and cons from both perspectives, right? What's another thing my crash out taught me? I need to regulate my emotions better, you know? So I'm usually pretty cool, calm, and collected, even under the most intense situations. Trauma will teach you how to do that easily because there's so much chaos happening around you. You got to keep functioning. You got school, you got work. You may have an event to show up to. You still got to pray. You still got to talk to God. You still got to be connected. Life still has to be lived, right? So it'll teach you how to be calm in those situations. However, when there are times that I have crashed out, not only is it because of the buildup, but it's because I didn't necessarily regulate my emotions properly in that moment. Whether I feel justified or not, regardless, I did not regulate my emotions at that time. So the lesson in that is to learn how to regulate your emotions. Even the calmest people snap, right? And we may be like, oh, okay, well, I get why they snap. Even if they did, may not have been the best emotional response to have. And you can be accountable for that and own that and work on being better, right? I always see there's room for improvement for all of us. And what's another one? I guess, because I don't want to keep you guys here for too long, I guess my next thing that I would say that I learned from my crash out is don't reveal too much. Sometimes you just need to let it play out. Now, don't let it build up, but sometimes overly reacting, ask yourself why you even crashing out. Because I realized a lot of my crash outs, what I was saying out of my mouth was the problem, wasn't really the problem at the core, right? Sometimes when I thought certain individuals were the problem, those individuals weren't necessarily the problem at the core. It was the principle of this, it was the lack of this, or I felt like I was missing this. It was the comparison of this. Comparison is the thief of joy, honey. Comparison is the thief of joy in all ways. So be careful. Final lesson I will say is that my crash outs taught me that I'm spoiled. I usually say something else, but I don't want everybody copying what I be saying. So I'll just stick with the word spoiled. And I am. Some of my crash outs came because I wasn't getting my way. And how toddler of me, right? To get no and not like it. I mean, now listen, it's human. How many of us like no, like male or female? Most of us do not like the answer no. However, my crash outs just really taught me that I am spoiled in a lot of ways. So when I'm not getting the standard that I'm accustomed to, or I'm being told no in an area that I'm just like, excuse me, my spoiledness is coming out because I'm so accustomed. Now, it ain't my fault. I'm spoiled, okay? That was the standard set for me. However, it doesn't negate the fact that I am in a lot of areas. And instead of complaining or griping when I do get a no or something, change my mindset and be grateful for all the times it was yes. Change my mindset and be grateful for all the effort that was put in. Change my mindset and realize that even in the midst of me getting a no, the effort to make up for it, right? Everybody don't get these things. And if you have parties in your life that do, or if you are that party in other people's lives, take that into consideration. Make sure you are grateful, and make sure you nurture it, and make sure you appreciate it, and do not abuse it. Just because you have somebody who is very loyal, very loving, will put in the effort, don't abuse it, because everybody gets fed up. Everybody has a breaking point, and you may... Now, it's not just the complaining, but always pointing out and not realizing hey, I'm just spoiled right here. Or hey, even if it's not in a negative connotation like spoiled or something, right? Maybe it's I need a little extra TLC this month. I know that I don't require this much attention and other times, but I need that. And that goes back to communication. And most people, if they're already loving and loyal to you, they will give you the things that you need. And it's okay to ask for different things or ask for a little more in different seasons. They will make the adjustments if they truly love you and are loyal to you. Right? And sometimes they won't. But again, like we talked about in the beginning, don't let everything pile up and wait to where it feels like they have a to-do list to do. Because you just can't even get in the right mindset. Like if I feel like I've had a to-do list and then I'm start scratching this off, or if I'm taking it all in and like, if you really view me this way, why are we even trying to do anything at all? You know, like if you really think I'm this bad, what's the point of even putting any effort at all? Like that can happen, and their feelings and their mindset, hella justified, hella valid. Okay, so communicate, pray as always, and learn from me. Learn from me. These are the lessons that I learned in my crash out, and I hope for you guys that you guys don't have to crash out. Learn from me. So I love you guys. I can't wait to see what we talk about next time. Again, congratulations if you gave your life to Christ. Welcome to the family. And as my BK fam, you know, I love you guys no matter what, no matter who you are, and no matter where you listen to me from. Absolutely love you guys, and I can't wait to see what we talk about next time. All right, guys. Bye.
Topic, yeah, but we gon' talk about something on the mental, on the mind, weighing heavy. Society with the levies, kinda deadly. Silent killer, hard to daddy. Most killers had no daddy. Sadly, that's just what it be in my community. We got no unity. Dark skin wanna ruin me. I'm speaking fluently, so just listen. Blank canvas, blank canvas, blank canvas. Blank